Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, let's begin discussing Shakespeare studies. Our first topic is social and political environment of Elizabeth in England and its reflection in a Shakespearean plays. Social and political environment of Elizabeth in England and its reflection in Shakespearean plays. Shakespeare's plays serve as a reflection of Elizabeth in England's political anxieties, social structures, and cultural values, offering both a critique and a reinforcement of the prevailing order. Through themes of power, betrayal, identity, and justice, Shakespeare captured the spirit of his time, making his works enduringly relevant. The social and political environment of Elizabeth in England 1558 to 1603 was shaped by a variety of factors, including the strong rule of Queen Elizabeth I, religious conflicts, exploration and colonial expansion, social hierarchy, and the Renaissance intellectual and artistic flourishing. These themes are vividly reflected in Shakespeare's plays. First, political environment, monarchical power and stability. Elizabeth I was a powerful and a strategic ruler who maintained her authority despite challenges, including threats from Spain, that is the Spanish Armada 1588, and internal conspiracies, for example, the Essex Rebellion. Shakespeare often portrayed the divine right of kings and the dangers of political instability as seen in Macbeth and Richard II. Tudor myth and legitimacy. The Tudor dynasty's legitimacy was emphasized through historical plays like Henry IV and Henry V, reinforcing the idea of strong, rightful rulers. Fear of usurpation and treason. Themes of betrayal, political intrigue, and the consequences of regicide appear in Hamlet, Macbeth, and Julius Caesar, reflecting the era's anxieties over political plots. Now the social environment, social hierarchy and class structure. Elizabethan society was highly stratified with a clear distinction between nobility, gentry, merchants, and commoners. Shakespeare's plays like King Lear and Othello explore social mobility, ambition, and the struggles of those attempting to rise above their status. Role of women. Women had limited rights, yet Elizabeth I's reign challenged gender norms. Shakespeare's female characters such as Lady Macbeth, Portia from The Merchant of Venice, and Rosalind from As You Like It reflect both the traditional and subversive ideas about women's roles. Religious tension. The Protestant Reformation and a lingering Catholic resistance created deep religious divisions. Shakespeare's plays, particularly Measure for Measure and Hamlet, grapple with themes of morality, divine justice, and corruption. A reflection in Shakespearean plays, political intrigue and power struggles. Plays like Hamlet and Macbeth depict the dangers of unchecked ambition and the consequences of political instability, mirroring the fears of Elizabeth in England. Exploration and colonialism. England's interest in expansion and encounters with new cultures are hinted at in The Tempest, which touches on themes of colonization and power dynamics. Patriotism and a national identity. Shakespeare's history plays, such as Henry V, celebrate English nationalism and military powers, reinforcing Elizabethan pride. Our next topic is structure of the Shakespearean plot. Shakespeare's plays commonly follow a five-act structure influenced by classical drama and Aristotle's theory of tragedy, which outlines a coherent narrative arc from beginning to end. Act first, exposition, that is, introducing the main characters, setting, background, and the central conflict. For example, the mysterious witches in Macbeth set the tone and hint at the chaos to come. Act second, rising action. The conflict deepens, complications arise, and a tension begins to build. For example, in a Hamlet, the prince pretends to be mad as he grapples with his father's murder. Act 3, climax. The turning point of the play, often the moment of highest emotional intensity, it happens in Act 3. For example, the assassination of Julius Caesar in Julius Caesar marks a dramatic shift in the play's direction. Act 4, falling action. Consequences of the climax unfold, often leading the protagonist toward a ruin. For example, Macbeth's increasing paranoia and a tyranny following Duncan's murder. Now Act 5, denouement and a catastrophe. The resolution of the story and a tragedies often results in death or downfall. For example, Hamlet concludes with the prince's death and the collapse of the Danish royal family. This five-act structure appears across genres like tragedies, comedies, histories, etc. In tragedies, we can have Othello, King Lear, and in death and moral lessons. Comedies, we have Twelfth Night and Midsummer Night's Dream, and in reunions and marriages. Histories, Richard III, explores power, legitimacy, and a downfall. The structure ensures dramatic coherence, guiding audiences through a journey of conflict, climax, and resolution. Our next topic is editions and emendations of Shakespeare's works. Since Shakespeare did not personally publish his plays, early versions contained errors and inconsistencies. Scholars and editors over centuries have attempted to correct and refine the text. Folios and quartos. Quartos, 1594 and 1639, individual small-sized play books, often with significant textual variations. Some were bad quartos, that is, pirated versions, while others were good quartos, that is, authorized. First folio, 1623, compiled by Shakespeare's colleagues Jean Hemingis and Henry Condell. It included 36 plays categorized as comedies, histories, and tragedies. This version preserved many plays not found in quartos, for example, Macbeth. Later folios, 1632, 1663, 1685, revised the editions, correcting errors and updating language. Later editions and emendations. 18th century editions. Alexander Pope, Samuel Johnson, and Edmund Malyon corrected errors and added footnotes. 20th and 21st century scholarship. The Arden, Oxford Press, and Cambridge editions refine texts based on historical research. Our next topic is literary elements in Shakespeare's works. soliloquies and aside, used to reveal inner thoughts. Example, Hamlet's thought, that is, to be or not to be. The next literary element is dramatic irony. Audience knows more than characters. For example, Othello's misplaced their trust in Iago. The use of blank verse and prose. Noble characters often speak in iambic pentameter, while commoners use prose. Wordplay and puns, often found in comedies. For example, Mercutio's wit in Romeo and Juliet. Themes: power, betrayal, fate versus free will, love, identity, etc. Shakespeare's texts continue to evolve with new interpretations, ensuring their lasting influence in literature and performance.